Hello students, this is Mrs. Sonal Patil. Today we will begin with chapter 8, Cell, the unit of life. What is a cell? As you already know, cell is the fundamental structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Unicellular organisms are capable of independent existence and performing the essential functions of life. Anything less than a complete structure of a cell does not ensure independent living. Hence, as I told already, cell is a structural and functional unit of all living organisms. So, cell is the one which is carrying out all the activities of the organism. So, organisms may be unicellular or they may be multicellular. If the organisms are made up of single cell, they are called as unicellular organisms, and the organisms which are made up of many cells, they are called as multicellular organisms. So, cell is basically the fundamental structural and functional unit of a living organism which carries the activities of the organism. Anton von Leeuwenhoek first saw and described a live cell. Later, Robert Brown discovered the nucleus. Schwann reported that cells had a thin outer layer which is today known as plasma membrane. He also concluded presence of cell wall is a unique character of plant cells. The invention of the microscope and its improvement leading to the electron microscope revealed all the structural details of the cell. Cell theory. In 1838, Matthias Sheldon, a German botanist, examined a large number of plants and observed that all plants are composed of different kinds of cells which form the tissues of the plant. At about the same time, Theodore Schwann, a British zoologist, studied different types of animal cells and reported that cells had a thin outer layer which is today known as plasma membrane. He also concluded, based on his studies on plant tissues, that the presence of cell wall is a unique character of the plant cells. So, cell wall is only present in the plant cell, whereas it is absent in the animal cells. On the basis of this, Schwann proposed the hypothesis that the bodies of animals and plants are composed of cells and products of cells. Sheldon and Schwann together formulated the cell theory. This theory, however, did not explain as to how new cells were formed. Rudolf Virchow in 1855 first explained that cells divided and new cells are formed from pre-existing cells. So cells are dividing and the new cells are formed from the pre-existing cells. This was been explained by Rudolf Virchow. He modified the hypothesis of Sheldon and Schwann to give the theory, cell theory, a final shape. So cell theory as understood today is all living organisms are composed of cells and products of cells. Secondly, all cells arise from pre-existing cells. So this was about the introduction. Coming to the overview of a cell. The onion cell, which is a typical plant cell, has a distinct cell wall as its outer boundary, and just within it is the cell membrane. So if you analyze the onion cells, you can just see under the microscope, you can observe that these cells are having a distinct cell wall as an outer boundary, and below the cell wall it is having the cell membrane. The cells of human cheek have an outer membrane as the delimiting structure of the cell. Inside each cell is a dense membrane bound structure called nucleus. Very important structure in the cell, nucleus. This nucleus contains the chromosomes which in turn contain the genetic material DNA. So nucleus is present inside the cell. Inside the nucleus there are chromosomes which contain the genetic material, that is DNA. Cells that have membrane bound nuclei are called eukaryotic. Very, very important to note. So, the nuclei, there is nothing but the cells that have membrane bound nuclei, that is nothing but nuclear membrane they have surrounding the genetic material. Those are called as eukaryotic, whereas the cells that lack the membrane bound nucleus are called prokaryotic. This is a very important difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic organisms. So prokaryotic organisms are having, they don't have the nuclear envelope, the nuclear membrane is absent, whereas nuclear membrane is present in the eukaryotic cells. In both prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, a semi-fluid matrix called cytoplasm occupies the volume of the cell. The cytoplasm is the main area of cellular activities in both the plant as well as the animal cells. Various chemical reactions occur in it to keep the cell in the living state. Besides the nucleus, the eukaryotic cells have other membrane bound distinct structures called organelles, which are called as organelles, like the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi complex, lysosomes, mitochondria, microbodies, and vacuoles. So these are all membrane bound cell organelles which are present in the eukaryotic cell, whereas are not present in the prokaryotic cell. The prokaryotic cells lack such membrane bound organelles, but they have only ribosomes. Ribosomes are non-membrane bound organelles found in all cells, both eukaryotic as well as prokaryotic. So prokaryotic as well as eukaryotic cells have ribosomes, whereas membrane bound organelles are absent in the prokaryotic organisms. Within the cell, ribosomes are found not only in the cytoplasm but also within the two organelles, that is chloroplast and mitochondria, and on the rough endoplasmic reticulum. So ribosomes are present in the chloroplast in the plants, and they're present in the mitochondria. They're also present in the rough endoplasmic reticulum. As you all know that there are two types of endoplasmic reticulum: rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Depending upon the presence of ribosomes, they are distinguished in that manner. So the ribosomes containing endoplasmic reticulum are called as a rough endoplasmic reticulum. Animal cells contain another non-membrane bound organelle called centriole, which helps in cell division. Cells differ greatly in size, shape, and activities. For example, mycoplasmas, the smallest cells are only 0.3 micrometer in length, while bacteria could be 3 to 5 micrometer. So smallest cell to bad. So the cells differ in their shape, they differ in the size. So they have quoted the example of mycoplasma, which is the smallest, and they have told about the bacteria, that is 3 to 5 micrometer it is in size. So size differ in different organisms. The largest isolated single cell is the egg of an ostrich. Among multicellular organisms, human red blood cells, that is RBCs, are about 7 micrometer in diameter. Nerve cells are some of the longest cells. So nerve cells are the longest cells. Cells also vary greatly in their shape. They may be disc-like, polygonal, columnar, cuboid, thread-like, or even irregular. So cells differ in their shape. They may acquire different types of shapes. The shape of the cell may vary with the function they perform. So here in the diagram there has been shown about the red blood cells, white blood cells, columnar epithelial cells. So this diagram is showing different shapes of the cells. So this is nerve cell, trachea, mesophyll. So you can just see cell shapes are different, size is different. So cells differ in their shape and their sizes. Prokaryotic cells. The prokaryotic cells are represented by bacteria, blue-green algae, mycoplasma, and PPLO, that is pleuropneumonia-like organisms. They are generally smaller and multiply more rapidly than the eukaryotic cells. So they multiply more rapidly, they are more faster in the replication compared to that of the multiplication compared to that of the eukaryotic cells. They may vary greatly in shape and size. There are 4 basic types of bacteria. This we have already discussed in the earlier chapter. So bacteria are classified depending upon their shapes. Okay, the rod-like are called as bacillus, spherical are called as coccus, comma-shaped are called as vibrio, and spiral are called as spirillum. All prokaryotes have a cell wall surrounding the cell membrane except in mycoplasma. The fluid matrix filling the cell is the cytoplasm. There is no well-defined nucleus. The genetic material is basically naked, not enveloped by a nuclear membrane. This we have already discussed. So genetic material is not covered by the nucleus is not covered by the This is a main difference between the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cells. So here again the diagram is showing you about the eukaryotic cell, which is having, you can see here it is having the nuclear membrane. Here typical bacteria, size, PPLO, pleuropneumonia like organism, and viruses. So cells vary in their shape. In addition to the genomic DNA, very important, many bacteria have small circular DNA outside the genomic DNA. These smaller DNA are called as plasmids. So plasmids are nothing but they are circular, self-replicating extra chromosomal DNA which are present in the bacterial cells. Very important. This is the plasmid. The plasmid DNA confers certain unique phenotypic characters, phenotypic in the sense the external characters to such bacteria. One such character is a resistance to antibiotics. Nuclear membrane that is resistant to antibiotics. It shows nuclear membrane is found in eukaryotes. No organelles like the ones in the eukaryotes are found in prokaryotic cells except for ribosomes. Prokaryotes have something unique in their form of inclusions, a specialized differentiated form of cell membrane called mesosomes. Mesosomes are present in the prokaryotic cell is the characteristic of prokaryotes. They are essentially infoldings of cell membrane. So here prokaryotic cells have infoldings called as mesosomes. Very important. Here diagram has been shown of the bacterial cell, which is showing the genetic material. You can see it is called as nucleoid, not covered by the nuclear membrane, cytoplasm. Okay, then the plasma membrane, cell wall, capsule, pilus. This is a plasmid, extrachromosomal self-replicating circular DNA called as plasmid, flagella. And these are the ribosomes. So this is the structure of the bacterial or the typical prokaryotic cell. Here again, the difference is been shown here. Nucleoids, you can see there is no nuclear membrane, whereas here the nuclear membrane is present in the eukaryotic cells. Membrane bound cell organelles are present, whereas membrane bound cell organelles are absent. Okay, and they have the ribosomes, which are non-membrane bound organelles. Cell envelope and its modifications. Most prokaryotic cells, particularly the bacterial cells, have a chemically complex cell envelope. The cell envelope consists of a tightly bound three-layered structure, that is the outermost glycocalyx, followed by the cell wall, and then the plasma membrane. So first is a glycocalyx, which is followed by the cell wall, and then it is having a plasma membrane. Although each layer of the envelope performs distinct function, they act together as a single protective unit. Bacteria can be classified into two types on the basis of differences in the cell envelopes and the manner in which they respond to the staining. So staining is been done. This was been done by Graham, the scientist called as Graham. So the name is given, but it was developed by him, by Graham. So those that take up Gram stain are called as Gram positive, and the others that do not take are called as Gram negative bacteria. So this way also the bacteria are been differentiated as Gram positive and Gram negative. So the bacteria which take up the Gram stain are called as Gram positive, and the bacteria which do not take the stain they are called as Gram negative bacteria. Glycocalyx differs in the composition and thickness among different bacteria. It could be a loose sheath called the slime layer in some, while in others it may be thick and tough called capsule. The cell wall determines the shape of the cell and provides a strong structural support to prevent the bacterium from bursting or collapsing. So cell wall plays a very important role. The plasma membrane is semi-permeable in nature and interacts with the outside world. This membrane is similar structurally to that of the eukaryotes. A special membranous structure is the mesosome, which is formed by the extensions of plasma membrane into the cell. These extensions are in the form of vesicles, tubules, and lamellae. They help in cell wall formation, DNA replication, and distribution to daughter cells. They also help in respiration, secretion processes to increase the surface area of the plasma membrane and enzymatic content. In some prokaryotes like cyanobacteria, there are other membranous extensions into the cytoplasm called as chromatophores, which contain pigments. So chromatophores contain the pigments which are present in the cyanobacteria. Bacterial cells may be motile or non-motile. If motile, they have the thin filamentous extensions from their cell wall called flagella. So they have flagella. If the bacteria are having flagella, they are motile, and if they are not, they are called as non-motile. So if motile, they have the thin filamentous extensions from their cell wall, they are called as flagella. Bacteria show a range in the number and arrangement of flagella. Bacterial flagellum is composed of three parts: filament, hook, and basal body. So the filament is having three parts. Sorry, the flagellum is having three parts: filament, hook, and the basal body. The filament is the longest portion and extends from the cell surface to outside. Besides flagella, pili and fimbriae are also surface structures of the bacteria, but do not play a role in motility. The pili are elongated tubular structures made up of special protein. The fimbriae are small bristle-like fibers sprouting out of the cell. In some bacteria, they are also known to help. They help to attach the bacteria to rocks in streams and also to the host tissues. So this was about the prokaryotic cell. So they are having pili, fimbriae are present, and they have explained about the flagellum here. Coming to the ribosomes and inclusion bodies, in prokaryotes, ribosomes are associated with the plasma membrane of the cell. They are about 15 nanometer to 20 nanometer in size and are made up of two subunits, 50S and 30S. So S is a Swedberg's unit here. It is having, so ribosomes are having two subunits, 50S and 30S units, which when present together form 70S eukaryotic ribosomes. So 70S type of ribosomes are present in prokaryotes. Ribosomes are the site of protein synthesis. Several ribosomes may attach to a single mRNA. mRNA is a messenger RNA. So many ribosomes will attach to the mRNA and form a chain called polyribosomes or polysome. The ribosomes of polysome translate the mRNA into proteins. Inclusion bodies. Reserve materials in prokaryotic cells are stored in the cytoplasm in the form of inclusion bodies. These are not bound by any membrane system and lie free in the cytoplasm. Example: phosphate granules, cyanophysin granules, glycogen granules. Gas granules are found in blue-green and purple and green photosynthetic bacteria. So these are about the inclusion bodies, and about the ribosomes is been explained over here. So this was about today's class. So we have today studied about the prokaryotic cell. In the next class, we will study about the eukaryotic cell, and we will begin studying about the various different cell organelles. For today, we'll stop here. Thank you.